Good morning, everybody. I don't look for too many people to be live with me today because of the time it is. However, this is the live stream for Thursday night, September 28th for our cards. I was having some technical issues with my internet. So I do want to remind everybody that October 7th is the World Card Making Day, and you can sign up for this free class with Stampin' Up. Um, I would like to have a hour before the live or the recorded where we go on and make our cards to have just kind of a little party. So if you could let me know by October 5th if you'd like to join my Zoom room at 2 o'clock, then I can have an invitation sent to you. We will have prizes during that live Zoom. So anyway, this is just an information to mark that on your calendars. That's a week from tomorrow that we're going to do that World Card Making Day. It's the first one I've been able to participate in many, many years. September to December mini catalog. Do you know that we've only got like 80 some days until Christmas? Doesn't seem possible. We are going to be working with several different sets today. I'm going to be using the autumn leaves for one of our cards. And I'm also using some scraps of the All About Autumn paper, which is still out of stock. We can't order that. Then I'm going to be working with this set here, which is the Curved Occasions. I'm going to use the Happy Birthday and the Punch. And then along with the Curved Occasions, I'm using the Translucent Florals. That is a online exclusive only. But we're also going to be using these decoed circle dies. These have got so many potential, and yet I think it's a set that we might miss in the catalog. So these are a really nice set of dies to go ahead and purchase if you haven't already. Okay, so the first card that we're going to make.
Who's the winner from last week?
Oh, I'm sorry. The winner for last week's cards, let me find them because I've been rearranging everything this morning. I just had them. I had them here. What did I do with them? Oh my goodness, I can't find my cards from last week. No, those were ones that had not been. I just had them. Okay, well, the winner for last week's cards is Cindy McGee, which was going to be very ironic because yesterday was Cindy's birthday. And so she was going to get the cards. You know, there they are. I knew I had them on my desk. I have to reach long and hard for them. Okay, so last week's cards were these. So congratulations, Cindy. When you watch this, you will know that you are the winner of these two beautiful cards. So this is the first one that we had done, or the second one. So that's a Z-fold, double Z-fold. And then we had done this one that was using the Misty Meadow or Meadow something DSP. So those are the two cards that Cindy has won. So congratulations. All right, where do I start? Last week I showed you this card here. It was using the scraps from when I made this card. So I just used the scraps and I made a floating element card. We're going to do a floating element card tonight, but we're not going to do it out of that paper. We're going to do it out of some other paper. Here's another example of that floating element card, and I used the layering diorama dies to make this one. So I thought that turned out really pretty. All right, so for this card, Of course we are. Here we go. It was set over here where I didn't want it to be set. These are our supplies. You know how sometimes you just get all befuddled because you're not in sync with what you had planned to do? Okay, as you all know, when you get a die set, the photopolymer die set, you have a piece of acetate that comes in that set. We're going to reuse this, okay? Now you can use the window sheet, but let's recycle, okay? So we've got a piece of that sheet. We have one of the decoed circles, and I believe this one, these come in, get my glasses on here. There's 14 dies to this set. So I think this one is one of the smaller ones that we've got. Yeah. All right. But we're also using the one that makes a frame around it. So it'll go like that. So those are the two dies that I used. And I've already cut one out, so it's all good.
We have a glare from that.
Well, let me move
and I
that.
couldn't figure out what got on, if we were having alien visitors or what.
Let me move that transparent sheet. Okay, our basic card base is going to be the regular card base that is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, and we're going to have it as a landscape card. This is the copper clay, and I ran that through that brick embossing folder that I can't remember the name of. But it's the rough one, and it's yeah, it's got a real good texture to it. So that's what we're going to do there. I went ahead and I cut out 3 leaves with our die cuts, and I used the designer series paper to cut these out of, and then I used that gold paper that comes with this suite as well. So we have that. This is the happy birthday that I stamped with the curved bundle and then punched it out of this punch, which is really kind of cool because it makes a curve and you can use it for other stamps. Then I have some pieces of the designer series paper, and these were just scraps, okay? And you can have these any width that you want. So I have 3 of them that are a 1/2 inch. Yep. I have 3 that are a 1/2 inch, these 3 here, and then I have 2 that are 1 inch. So what I'm going to do, I kind of lined this up before I started it, and I wanted it to be something like this is what I wanted my floating element to look like. So this can be used for a masculine or a feminine card. Okay, so what you're going to do is take that acetate sheet that you get from your stamps or from the window sheet, and we are going to apply these strips to this acetate sheet. Now I know I always kind of measure my die that I'm going to use, so I know I can get probably 2 of these out of this one piece of acetate. So let's set this aside, and we are going to start by adhering these strips down. Now, important to remember 2 things. Don't use the liquid glue because it doesn't like to stick to the acetate and it makes a mess because it smears. 2, I wouldn't go much smaller than a 1/2 inch width because your adhesive tape runner doesn't it doesn't fit it real well. So you'd have to roll it over. And believe me, ask me how I know, because on this one here, I had some trouble getting that adhered down. So I'm going to start this right at the top of my acetate sheet and do this on your whatever this is called. My mind is not working this morning. Silicone mat. I've not had enough coffee today. Okay. But I got to turn it this way so that I can see where my lines are going to be at. Then this is going to be the next piece that we're going to do. I almost need 2 of my silicone mats, but that's okay. I just didn't want to have glare on it for us. Oh, looky there. My assistant is up early this morning. All right, so if I'm in the camera, you're going to then just do a strip of adhesive on the back of your DSP, and you want to leave, it's up to you. You can leave as wide or as narrow of a strip or a space that you want. I want this to be relatively narrow. And we're going to do that with the next piece of DSP. And I'm just running a whole strip all at one time because it's going to be cut out. And take your time lining it up because I can't do anything straight. So I hope you all are enjoying this summer/autumn weather. I'm going to be going to the annual Turkey Fest tomorrow in Eldon, where I can't ever remember it being so hot for it. It's usually cold or rainy, but I'm kind of glad that it's going to be warm. All right, so now I got a little bit extra over the sides. I just fold that over, and most of that's going to be cut off. So now I'm going to lay this piece down. So I've started and ended with the same paper, and you don't have to. You can do it however you want. Okay, so now I have all of my papers lined up on my mat or my window sheet. Now I'm going to take and run this through my die cut machine, and if I did this right, I could maybe get 2 of them out of this one piece. Let's see, will another one fit? That one's a little bit too big. That one would fit with the 3. Surely I can make this one fit. I got to make sure that I've got it on all on my acetate. So no, that one won't fit. This one fit? Nope. It won't fit with a circle, but I might be able to fit it with a square later on. So we'll see. What I am going to do is I'm going to trim off the back of this so that I know where my acetate ends, because nothing would be more disappointing than to have put this down and then die cut off my acetate. That would not be a good thing.
So I got a question.
All right, what is your question?
When you put it on your card, your acetate goes to the bottom, right?
Correct.
Not on the top, like
Correct.
a glossy
Correct.
film.
Correct.
Okay. Could you do that if you liked?
You can't do that because the adhesive would show through.
Okay.
So that is why
So make sure you have, when you pick up your scraps, I need to make sure that I pick it up and lay the correct side that I want up.
Correct. Because
okay.
I did that. I messed it up, and I I had put adhesive on the wrong side to make my pattern for this one. So I ruined a strip of the DSP, but all right, let's go cut this out real quick. And these cards are just really kind of unique because people wonder how you've gotten that pattern and how it will sit on the front of your card. And you might have to, depending on your die, you might have to run it through twice in order to get it cut. So that's my scrap left over, and I'm going to see what I can do with that because I like this paper. So we'll set that aside, put our deckled circles back in our container so that I don't lose them. So it might be a good thing that last night I couldn't go live because I had a filling yesterday, and oh my goodness, my mouth is still very, very sore this morning. And next week's going to be a fun week because I get 4 teeth pulled. So that's going to be fun.
I might have to do next week for you.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. Okay. So now I decided that I didn't want to have this, if I can get it picked up, laid right here on this. I wanted something to be in the background. So I decided that I'm going to put this circle on a piece of Very Vanilla. So we're going to use some dimensionals. You could also use the foam strips, but I have some pretty narrow areas here that I want to make sure that I get puffed up. So we're going to apply it, the dimensionals, to the back side only on the paper where you can see the paper. You don't want to put it on the acetate because then you can see that. So I might be doing very generous with this, with the dimensionals, but I want it to be very nice and popped up. And if you have wide enough strips, you could definitely use the regular size dimensionals, but I had these out, so that's what we're using. All right, so let's get this laid down. And this really does have a wow factor because people just don't know how you've gotten that effect, because it looks like this paper is just floating in air. Yes, and then this morning I have to go to the eye doctor. I don't think my prescription has changed. It didn't last year, so I think I'm going to put one more right here. It's just a pain having to go see all these doctors all of a sudden. So now I'm going to lay this piece right here. And that's just kind of floating on that piece of white. Let's go ahead and apply. I'm going to use glue. If I can find my glue bottle. No, I got it here. I just have to, there it is. Have to turn my cup around. I'm going to have the real bumpy edge out, so I'm going to glue on the smooth edge because one is debossed and one is embossed, and you can use either side. So if you are watching this on YouTube as a replay, thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up. That helps me out. Subscribe to my channel. That helps me out. Tell me where you're watching from. And then if you have a email address, you can send that to me by private message, because if your name is drawn to win these cards, I have to have some way of sending them to you. So I've had several people that have not responded with cards or with addresses, so I'm going to be drawing names for those cards. So I'm making this a birthday card. So I'm going to put my curved saying right there, and I'm going to lay it flat because what I really want to focus on is that. So I'm going to lay this flat, or I could do this. Maybe that's what I'll do. That's what I do. I think I'll like that better, because I have several birthdays coming up in October and November. So we're going to lay this flat here so that it really does show the dimension of our floating card. I'm going to then glue this piece down. So if you're watching on Facebook, give me thumbs up, leave me a comment so that you can also be entered in the drawing to win the cards that I've made today. Now the leaves that I have cut out, we are just going to kind of group them together and place them on our card. Okay, so that's how we're going to do this. I love these leaves, and and I love doing them out of the designer series paper, because you can use that design that's in it as part of the leaf veins. Okay, so I'm going to glue these two together, and I am just using the multi-purpose glue. Gluing those two together. Oops, that one kind of shifted on me. Okay, and I'm going to lay those kind of right there. Or should I go this direction and then put my little bow up here at the top? That's what we'll do. And see, if you use the other side, it also gives you an impression of the leaves. So you could use, depending on what the background paper was or the other side of the designer series paper, you could use either side to give you the look of leaves. So we're going to stick that right there. We're going to take a piece of, and this is an overkill, but I'm going to take a piece of the linen thread, and we're going to tie a small bow. Of course we are. There we go. I have yet to learn not to tie bows on camera, but I usually make them work. Just going to pull them really tight. And I don't want real big loops. I just want a tiny bow. I'm going to snip off my excess. I'm going to take a mini glue dot. I'm going to kind of roll it on my take your pick tool. Pull it off. I'm going to stick it right here so that a little bit of those stems are showing. And I kind of roll my linen thread so that it covers that sticky. So what do you think, ladies? Isn't that pretty? And then on the inside of this, I thought I had a piece of paper out here already. Let's see what color I used for, I know I did because I thought that I had a piece of the white. I did. We're going to lay a piece of the white DSP down here at the bottom. It's just a tad bit short. So maybe that's not what we're going to do. I don't know what happened to my other piece. But I have lots. See all my scraps in here, and I like to use up my scraps, especially of all the pretty papers that I like. Is this wide enough? Yep, sure is. Let's lay this piece down. And then you can stamp whatever greeting you want on the inside. Even that up. And because this is longer than my card base, which is great, then I can just snip off that little bit of extra. And card number 1 is complete.
That's it.
So, okay. So, there is my assistant has decided that we needed background noises. So, we don't know what she's going to come up with, and I apologize in advance. So here is the card. I really like this, and this might end up being my husband's birthday card. Okay, let me get this mess cleaned up, and what we don't need for our second card, which I'm telling you ladies is a wow card. I cannot take credit for this fold. I have to give credit where credit is due. And there is a demonstrator, and her name is Susan Campfield. And she's been a demonstrator for a very long time. And she came up with this fold. And I made one of these for my daughter for her birthday, no, for her anniversary back in June. So let me show you the one that I made for her. I won't show the back. Okay, so she likes carousels. So this is the card that I made her for her anniversary. I didn't give it to her. Her husband did. I made it. He commissioned me. Aw. I made it and said, you will give this to her. So that's how it stands up. And it's called the Flying Finch. Okay, so you have panels that you can put designer series paper on, and you can even, here I put happy anniversary, and I just cut it in half, and then we'll put a piece of white paper on the back so that you have a place to write it. See, it's just like this. Okay, all right. So when I designed that, I did go ahead and make a template so that I would know exactly how it needed to go together and what my cuts were. So this was my template, and these are my directions. So I'm going to set those away. So let me show you what we're going to do and use for this card. This is going to be our base, and it is the Berry Burst. So you have to cut 2 of these that measure 5.5 by 6 1/4. Then you need to have your first layer, and it's going to be Berry Burst as well, and it measures 3.5 by 5.5. You have a second layer, and this is basic white at 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. So that's going to go and layer on top of our, oh, that's the back piece. This is going to layer on our Berry Burst for the front of the card. This back piece is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. So it's going to lay on the back piece of our card for you to write on. Then you have some designer series paper. You have 2 pieces that measure 1 1/4 by 5 1/4, and they're going to go on the edges. And then you have 2 pieces that are 1 by 5 1/4, and those are going to go on our inside. Okay, so let's go ahead, and I wanted to show you how to score these 2 pieces to put them together. So I'm going to bring in my scoreboard. I could do this with my trimmer, but I want to have a good score line for these. So let's make sure. Let me move my camera just a tad. There you go. All right. So along the 6 1/4 side, you want to score this at 1 1/2. Again at 2 3/4. And 4 5/8. Okay, so the little lines are the 5/8. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's the little line past the 5 1/2. Okay, and we're going to do the same exact thing with the second piece. 1 1/2, 2 3/4, and then 4 5/8. So then you have 2 pieces that have identical score lines. Now, because this is going to be folded in and out and in and out, the first, we're going to work on one at a time. This one here is going to be folded mountain. Then it's going to be folded valley, mountain. And if I have these backwards, it's no big deal. We can change them, okay? So they're going to go like this, okay? Where our center is the bigger piece. So we're going to fold this one identical to that, okay? And this is not a hard card at all to put together. It looks difficult, but it's really not. Okay, so I just want to make sure that my score lines are all in the right direction. These are going to come out, and this is going to go in. This is going to come out, and this is going to go in. So that's how they're going to look. Now, this is probably the most difficult part, but what I did was I adhered these two together using some of my Post-it note stuff just to keep them together until I glued it down. So I just stuck it together to make sure that I had it lined up. Okay. And I'm just looking here to make sure that I've got it correct. Okay, because this piece, whoops, I think I may have folded it funny. I did. I sometimes have to just look at my folds to see where I need them to go. So I get them folded upright. Okay, we are going to adhere our first panel to the front. So it's going to be just like this. I got to check something out here because something does not look right. That's why, because I cut my berry burst wrong for my first panel. It needs to be at 5.5. And that's why it wasn't going down all the way. So let me grab a piece and recut that. I have to admit, I was trying to do this kind of quickly yesterday after my tooth got pulled. I wasn't feeling too awful great. That piece isn't big enough. So I have to apologize. My mind was not working very well. All right, this one is 5.5. Recut that. And it needs to be at, see, I just have to really look at things. Five and a half by 5.5 by 3.5. 3.5. Okay, now this piece will get attached. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my score lines look like they might be off. Why, oh, why are they off? This is, I'm just taking a look here, ladies, because I've got two. Okay, these are the pieces that get glued to this. So we're going to tighten that up because we want it to really hold, and we're going to glue this. And it is going to go over your score lines just a bit, and that's the way it's supposed to. So that's what my concern was. All right. So once we have that attached, then we can take off our white tape or whatever it is you used to hold your two pieces together. If you don't understand my instructions, you can contact me. Oh my goodness, ladies. It is one of those days for sure. This is a mountain. This is a mountain. There we go. This, why is it doing this? Because yeah, why is it? You know, when you try to do something on camera, of course, it's going to go haywire. Because this piece here is supposed to pop out. All right. I think because I didn't fold it, ladies. I think that's what my problem was. I was supposed to fold it and not lay it flat. All right. So we're going to do this because it's going to get covered up. Believe me, I don't let a card beat me. Even if I have to tear it apart and start all over again, that is exactly what I will do. And that, I think, is what my problem was I did not fold. See, it's been several months, and I didn't make a prototype of this one last night. I was just going to do it on the fly. Well, I'm doing it on the fly, all right, and not a very good job of it. I was supposed to fold over my center. This is what was supposed to get squared off and taped together. So let me get another piece of my berry burst. So you see, even demonstrators make mistakes, and I will be the first to admit that I make mistakes. All right, so this piece has to be cut, and that's where, see, I didn't know what she was going to play, but all right, so this is 3.5 by 5.5. Is this 5.5? Sure is. 3.5. So we're going to cut this one down. I just had to stop and think about it. I haven't had enough coffee. Okay. See, we can still use these two pieces. It's going to be just fine. But it has to be folded like this in order for me to make it work. Okay, so we're going to do it this way. And this is going to get covered up on the back side, so it doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm all out of my tape. All right, let me just get this back in my head. So these are my pieces, and they are folded to the front. So this is going to be the front of our card. We're going to go on the back, and we're going to tape it together. Just like so. Okay. Now when I tape this piece, it will actually pop out. Yay for me. I figured it out. But it's still not. You want to get it as straight and as close together as you possibly can. Okay. Boy. Whew. That was tough, ladies. And embarrassing. So now I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to get this right. But if you can't laugh at yourself, you can't laugh at anybody. So when I make a mistake, I will be the first to admit it. I just don't make them very often. Ha ha. All right, now we're going to lay this. And it does hang over, okay? We're going to actually start with one side. And we're just going to chance it and take and lay it down. Not press it down, but lay it down so that we know we are matching up. That one's got a little bit more give to that side. Let's take some away. Because you want just about 1/8 of an inch on each side of this. So I'm going to fold these pieces all up, make it smaller, make it easier for me to see. You won't have any overhang on the bottom or the top, but you will on each side. Ta-da! I fixed it. Okay. So I told you. So now we can refold this so that it has to be folded in the right direction. Okay. So that this piece comes out. That piece goes back. This piece goes like that. There we go. All right. There's our flying finch or seagull. Okay. Now I am a tad bit off and long on this side. We're going to trim that off. Let's just do a little bit. It's not gonna really hurt the card base at all. Okay. Now we can take off our paper tape. See there? So now this is the back piece. Okay. And that's how it will fold up. Okay. So because this is the back piece and I want you to be able to write on it. Where's my other white piece? There it is. We are going to attach this piece to the back. So that you can write your message. And seriously, ladies, this is not hard. It's just getting it in my head where things have to be placed. And sometimes I have a hard time doing that. All right, so that is the back of our card. Okay, so here is our pullouts. Tell you what, it just does not like the way I'm folding it. I think on my other one I put 2 strips of paper, but I wanted to try it with just one. Just bend it to make it work for you. Sometimes that's what I have to do. That's the back. Okay, so
my card was stiff and not wanting to bend at first, and the more
you played with it, the more it bent.
Yeah.
All right. Whew. Glad I got that done. All right, now we're going to put down our designer series paper, and I am using this all over flower print to put on my sides. This card, lady, there will be a PDF file for you out on my blog. However, it won't be until later because I have an eye appointment at 9 o'clock and it is already a little after 8. Good thing I don't have to go very far. So I won't have this posted until later because then I'm going up to Columbia to the University Hospital to see a friend of ours. She's been in the hospital with her son, who's a special needs child, for a week, and we thought she needed some company. So now I'm going to take these leaves and I'm going to put them in my 1-inch. These are the 1-inch ones. I cannot believe that this card gave me such a hard time today. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. I do know, and I can tell you that if you have been waiting for the truck builder punch, it was back in stock as of yesterday, as well as the Magic Meadow dies and stamp set, and that paper. The snowflake paper is still unavailable, as well as the white ribbon, but you can get everything else from that. So the suite's not available, but the bundle is. And that piece just got off a fraction of an inch. And I mean a fraction. I have become such a pro at tearing cards apart and putting them back together. So there we go. All right, now for the front part. For the front part, I have a piece of basic white, and I have already cut out some of the flowers and leaves, and I did this on vellum. So I stamped on vellum with the ink color. So this is Berry Burst. Okay. This is the Parakeet Party for the leaves. And this is the Bubble Bath, which is very light. So what I did was I embossed them in clear. So I stamped them in the ink, and then I put clear embossing powder over them right away. And then when I heat embossed it, then it gave me the color of the flowers that were on, that I wanted. Now the Bubble Bath did turn out kind of light. So what I did on it was I just took the dark Bubble Bath Stampin' Blends and I kind of went over the lines on the flower so that they would show up a little bit. I also, on the Bubble Bath, I colored the back side of it. I did not color the back side of the Berry Burst because I liked this effect. I did color the back side of the vellum with the Parakeet Party. So now how I'm going to get these to lay down without seeing the adhesive is strategically placing mini glue dots. So I'm going to place my big stem of leaves right there. And I'm going to place a mini glue dot in the center of my big flower. And lay it down. And it's going to kind of have the green behind it. I'm going to lay down another leaf. using the glue dot and kind of pushing it up underneath the first one. And I'm just kind of building up my flowers. And I may not even use the bubble bath. But before I go any farther, I want to stamp on this. I want to stamp happy birthday. And I have a small happy birthday that's going to fit right down here in the bottom. Up here in the camera. So I'm stamping happy birthday right here in the left-hand corner, just like so. And I'm going to take a third flower and put it with a glue dot. And I'm going to put it right about there. So I've stacked up my flowers and you can't see any of the adhesive that I used. Okay. Now I do want to use some embellishments with this. And I think I'm going to go with, I think I'm just going to use some rhinestones, some champagne rhinestones on this one. But this piece here is going to get adhered here. So let's go ahead and stick this piece down. Okay, and if you're worried that some of these may not stay with just one, then take your pick tool and add a couple more sticky dots or glue dots and put them where maybe there's two of them attached so that they can't really be seen. Oh, I did have one on my finger. Got myself stuck. And that way, if you're concerned that it's going to pop off, if you use extra glue dots once you've kind of got them together, then if you put them where there's a whole bunch of pattern behind it, you won't be able to see those glue dots as easily. So I'm going to put another one here on the leaf. And that should pretty well take care of it sticking down and not coming off. We'll stick another one down underneath this one. Okay, that one shifted a little bit for my greeting. There we go. Okay, let's put on our rhinestones here. And I'm going to use a big one right up here. Little one here. And one over here. Okay, so now when you fold it up, like so, it will fit in your envelope. Open it up, and there you have your Flying Finch card. Okay, and once it's folded a lot, then and I am going to stamp a greeting on the back of this. You could even split this in two pieces. I think that's what I did for the first one that I made. But I'm going to do this one, and I'm just going to stamp on one side of it, wishing you all the happiness in the world. All right. And then I'm going to take my one my one flower that I have left over, and I'm going to put it down here with a glue dot. To decorate the back. And I have cut out some of the double leaves, and we're going to use one of those. And put that underneath our flower. Then I'm going to take an extra one here with my take your pick tool. And I'm going to attach my flower down to my leaf. Okay, so that's the back of it. It is just, what is going on? It's got to be me. There, like that, like that. There we go. It is me. My mind isn't working. All right, let me move these things out of the way. See, I didn't think these showed up very well. I guess that would have showed up there, but it just didn't. I thought the darker ones looked better, and I didn't think I needed any more leaves on this, but I did have them, and I did do them all at one time. I stamped a whole sheet of the the vellum paper, and then embossed them all at one time so that it was easier. I'm trying to find my cleaner for my stamps because I'm going to be rushing out the door when I'm finished here. That's okay. They always make you wait anyway, right? So if I'm not on time, too bad, so sad. Okay, so let me bring in both of the cards that we made today. Ladies, I apologize for first not being able to record it last night. Second, for all my bloopers today. Sometimes you just get wigged out. I just got wigged out, I guess, this morning. So here is our flying finch card. And maybe I just have to really crease that. There we go. That's what I had to do. I had to really crease my back. There's that card. And then here's the other card that we made. Okay. So those are our cards for today, ladies. I appreciate it. If you leave a comment, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like the cards, let me know. Because if I don't know what you like and what you dislike, I can't possibly do cards that you like. Okay. Don't forget to make a comment on them if you would like to have these cards. We will draw for them next week. Okay, ladies, until later, have a great weekend. We'll see you later. Bye.